Mr. President, our guests and fellow Rotarians, every 28 years I have the immense pleasure and privilege of presenting to the club Rotarian former President Dr. Subhash Hora. Subhash has spoken to us on a number of occasions during the past years. One of his addresses I remember vividly was when he spoke about being a young boy in a devout Hindu family escaping from Kashmir in the months immediately following Indian independence in 1947. I thought then, God, what a life this man's led, and what an ordinary, uneventful life I've had. It may not be so vivid today because Subhash is going to talk to us about his years in Rotary. We all know, however, that Subhash's commitment to Rotary has never been anything but total. And apart from taking part in pretty well everything that the club does, he has over the years maintained at least 3 major projects of his own. And his presidential year, those who recall it, maybe you mentioned this particular thing, when he brought the entire area of Brentwood into gridlock because everybody wanted to get to a particular thing that Subhash was mounting. But I don't want to, obviously, to tread on his ground, so I ask you to receive former President Subhash Hora.
Thank you very much, John. That was a very, very good, what we call it, introduction.
Character assassination.
Right. Mr. President, fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to stand again and talk about anything in this club. Today my topic is my 40 years in the Rotary Club. If I go back to 1971, I was in Staffordshire when I joined general practice. That was on the 1st of October 71. Only 2 months after that, I happened to meet a patient. After his consultation, they said, would you like to join Rotary? I knew Rotary, I wanted to join, but I was unable to find out where and how to join. Because in those days, there was no publicity by the Rotary clubs to say, come join us. Nowadays, we are looking for members. In those days, it was not very difficult to find members. Anyway, I said to him straight away, yes, David, I would like to join. He said, right, today is Tuesday, will you come in for lunch? And where? He said, Crown Hotel, which was in London. It was only a few minutes walk from my surgery, so I went for lunch. He offered me sherry, followed by lunch. Usual meeting as it takes place here. There are about 35-40 members in that club. And after the meeting, he said, would you like to come next Tuesday? I said, yes, I'll come again. So in this way, I went to the club 4 times, and then I was asked if I was interested to join the Rotary. And I said, yes. So I was invited with my wife Seema to the service committee to have an interview. That was about an hour's interview. We discussed various subjects, talked about what is Rotary, how it works, and so on. And they said, well, go and think over. If you want to join us, let us know. So after 2 or 3 days, this gentleman, David Emery was, who first invited me. What do you think of joining the Rotary? I said, yes, I would like to join. And the next day, there was a letter in my post, and there was an application form to join the Rotary. So I joined the Rotary Club of London in 1971. And as usual, in the month of May, I was asked if I would like to be chairman of the international committee. I said to David, listen, I don't know yet what is the Rotary, how it works. You have asked me to take such a responsible job. He said, no, I want you to take it, and I will tell you why. So I said yes, signed the forms, and I became the chairman of the International Committee. Our first job was in the International Committee to raise money for the ICAM. So an Indian evening was organized, and we were able to have a good evening in that. We raised about 200 something money, but 150 was given to ICAM. There was a lady called Mrs. Shalom, who was invited from Birmingham to come to lecture. In this way, I kept on remaining in the long-term Rotary Club for a long time, until 1983. In 83, due to some family reasons, I had to move to India. I remained in India for 2 years. Then in 1985, I came back. During my stay in India, my passion for Rotary was there, so I went to the local Rotary Club, joined the Rotary Club of Chandigarh. And as they came to know about me, then they said, would you like to arrange a medical camp? I said, yes. So we arranged a medical camp with the neighboring village. The marquee was set, and myself, Seema, and 2 more doctors came. There were 4 doctors, and we saw about 500 patients in that. Few patients, 1 or 2 ladies were suffering from cancer breast, and were referred to the local hospital. Many of them, they had their blood pressure, weight, diabetes checked, and there were a lot of medical samples lying there, which we handed over to the patients who were called. So in this way, I had a good time in Chandigarh. 1984, I came here, not with the hope to stay here, but I was visiting and I could not go back. The reason was the troubles in India, and I was holding a British passport, so the government of India would not let me go back. Number 1, I was British. Number 2, I wanted to go back to the troubled area. They said we have to wait until the trouble settle down, and only then we can allow you to go back. No doubt my family was there, but they would not consider it. So I decided, if that's the case, I'm not going back. So I started looking for a job, and I was very lucky to get a single-handed job in Dagenham, which I started on the 1st of January 1985.
Dr. Hora, was this the Khalistan issue that stopped you from going back?
It was Khalistan and some disturbances in Pakistan, Punjab and all that, And Chandigarh was a main focus because they were, and that's why, I think it was the end of October when Indira Gandhi was assassinated. One of my friends said, you are not going to India. India is sitting on a volcano. So, fair enough. So, I started my work in January here in Dagenham. My first job was to find out where is the local Rotary Club. And I wanted to settle in Hornchurch, so I started finding out where the Rotary Club of Hornchurch meets. Could not find it. So I rang the superintendent police in Hornchurch police station. I said, well, where is the Rotary Club meeting? He said, I don't know. I don't live in Hornchurch. I said, well, in my previous Rotary Club, the superintendent was the member of the Rotary Club. I thought you might know. But I will find out, he said, and I will give you a ring in 20 minutes. In half an hour, I get a telephone call from his clerk that we don't know where the Rotary Club meets, but we know who can help you. And we have helped him for some work, and his name is Ron Nightingale. And his telephone number is this. So he gave me the telephone number, I rang. Somebody took the message, said, oh, Ron is not in the office, but he will ring you back. In 5 minutes, I get a message, oh yes, the Rotary Club meets in the lodge every Thursday, lunchtime. I said, oh, that suits me well. It's my half day. Said, tomorrow, I'll come and see you there. So I came to the Rotary Club of Hornchurch on Thursday, I think it was January month. Started coming there as a guest, because the Rotary Club does not transfer the membership from one place to another. And it was on the 15th of August, 1985, it was Thursday, I joined the Rotary Club of one church. President was John Fowler at that time. And since then, I have been working here, again started working for the International Committee. And we had what is John Holder, what was his first name?
Sorry?
Holder.
Noddy.
The Holder. The guy who was the International Committee chairman at that time. The one who died. Cliff. Yes. So what happened that in those days we were going on with the polio plus, and we were sitting in the Rotary Club when it was announced that each Rotarian must raise 100 pounds for the polio plus. One of our members, who is not here now, said, "Oh, we'll give a check of 100 pounds, and that will be it. Each person should contribute." So I stood up, I said, "No. The collection is not the answer. We must go for service above self." And I was pleased that the whole club agreed with me. So we started raising money for the Rotary Club for the polio plus. One, we had the race night, which raised about 1,100 pounds. Then there was a place at we had a Indian food tasting. We raised about another 1,500 pounds. And with more few small things, our sum was 3,500 pounds, which we were supposed to raise because we were 34 or 35 members at that time. So we raised that money and handed over to the Rotary International. It was a great thing. Unfortunately, Cliff Holt later next year, I think he died, and I took over his place. Then my start work as a Rotarian started. I think 1987 or 88, I was given the award of Rotarian of the Year. And later on, I was made fellow of the Rotary Club when our friend John Jeff Harrington was the president at that time. So I have enjoyed every part of the Rotary over the last 40 years. Wherever I went, whether it was Portugal, or India, or America, I always try to attend the Rotary meetings. I remember once I was in Portugal, I went there to attend a Rotary meeting. There were 12 members, none of them could speak English. And I could not speak Portuguese, but still we communicated. And it was an interesting meeting to attend. Once I was in America, I attended a meeting where there were members, 120 members, 80 of them were there. It was a huge big hall, and I attended the meeting. I met many of them. I was talking to the sergeant at arms. I said, "How many people's names you remember?" I said, "Only 7 or 8 numbers names I remember. I don't know others, but I do come here." And there were 4 ladies as well at that time. When I was here at that time, Michael Horrigan was the president. At that time, we wanted to bring the ladies to the club. He did some voting as well, but we could not. But again, we were pleased to have the ladies back in the club after some time. And I have enjoyed every moment of this organization. And I would like you guys to stay in the club and enjoy. Thank you very much.
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, tell them about, what would, Mr. President,
Yes.
will you make them tell them about Brentwood?
Brentwood.
Yeah, make him tell them about that.
I have to speak about Brentwood.
Yes.
With clarity.
The Brentwood, what was Brentwood, that Kenny Ball was living in front of my house.
Oh, yes.
And Christmas time, in the Christmas time, he invited me. When he moved into the house, he knocked on my door and he said, "I am Kenny Bar." I said, "I know. I have seen you on the television. This is my telephone number. Give me your telephone number. If we have any problem, we can communicate with each other." So thank you very much. Then at Christmas time, he invited me for his Christmas party. And as soon as I arrived, we started talking about this Rotary Club. He said, "Is there anything I can do?" I said, "Yes, please. We can have your free services." And arrange what you call a musical concert for Jaipur Limb Center, which he was very pleased to know that. Then he opened his diary, he gave me 2 dates. 9th of September 1990 and 16th of September 1990. Which one would you like? I said, "I'll go back to my club and ask them." As I announced this thing, everybody was very pleased, and we agreed to the 9th of September 1990. We started working on this, and we had, with the help of Dick Palmer and others, we put in the newspaper because we were having difficulty selling the tickets. The tickets were only, £9 at that time, but there was no food involved. But you'll be surprised to know that we sold 250 tickets at that time. The concert was organized in Keys Hall in Brentwood. And we were not only from the Rotary Club, a lot of my friends from different parts of the country, they came, Coventry, Birmingham, Kent, and so on, and they all enjoyed. The hall was full. We raised £3,500, and there were a lot of presents from what you call this, our raffle presents. Some of them were given by the Rotarians, and a collection of records signed by Kenny Ball was given by him. In this way, we raised £3,500, which was sent to Jaipur Limb Center. Following this, we raised the money again here twice at home. And 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, I was in India when I went to see myself what the work is going on and how the things are done there. It was so pleasing to see that money which we send for the Jaipur Limb Center is it's well used. There were hundreds of children and people with the polio victims, and they were given calipers and the artificial limbs. I spoke to one guy who came second time to have the artificial limb done because he lost his leg in train crash, and now his old limb was getting worn off, so he wanted a new. This is how I got involved with the Jaipur Center.
Any more questions? Well,
Was it here that you, sorry, Mr. President, was it here that you came for the meeting, or had you moved by then?
Lodge.
At the lodge?
At the lodge. We've been at the lodge all the time since 1985.
One observation, when you said that, at the time you had a job to sell tickets, I thought, well, nothing's changed in that time.
I mean, even it was on the front page of our Hahn Church paper with my telephone number and address, but we didn't make any much progress. But again, that hall could only take 250 people, and we were more than that, so it was okay.
Yeah, but that size, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Subhash, tell them why your garage is full of spectacles and drug samples.
Well, I started collecting drug samples from our drug company, and that were handed over to a couple in what you call this place in Leicester. Husband and wife, they were doctors in London, and when they retired, they started collecting these drugs. and they advertised, and I started sending them boxes full of drugs, and they would send them to Africa. And one of the husband died, no, the wife died with some cancer or something, and the husband is still collecting, but not in the same active way as he was doing that. Then spectacles I collected, we had a Brian Ellis in Dagenham, who was an optician, now he's retired. He was collecting spectacles from the area, and when he had loads of spectacles, he would fill them boxes, 2-3 assistants, he would take them to Africa and give them there. He would test them and all that, and he told me that when he goes there, there's a queue of people waiting there for these spectacles. And he was awarded by the Queen, and now he's retired. So spectacles and drugs were given.
Very good.
I did over for what, 20 years I did this job. Now there's no demand for the spectacles. The drug business is also now down because now we don't get drug samples from the medical representatives. In the past we used to get. And the drugs given by the patients are not allowed to be used. So unfortunately we can't do that.
Any more questions from Well, we've had
speakers who've spoken with compassion. We've had speakers with an easy listening technique. And we've had speakers with light-hearted humour. But I don't think we had one with quite as much homely attitude. I thought the speech was marvellous. It was at the right level, and it was Subhash to a T. Which proves that he is a Rotarian at heart. And I'd like us all to thank Subhash in our usual manner for his speech. Right, any other business for anybody? Any points to raise?